Check. No. Check. There it is. Ugh, Jesus. What a day.
Hello.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good, David. How are you? I'm perfect now, David. How are you?
Doing well.
Good.
My video coming through.
No, but I mean, you know, I've had worse problems in the last 10 minutes.
It's fair.
Yeah,
Get that video to work too.
I don't know why all of a sudden YouTube decided it needed to do that.
I actually found a website that may help you in the future.
That's exciting.
Freeconference.com. You ever seen that?
Yeah. So the problem with what we do is that we're really attached to the live stream part of the thing, more so for the chat than anything else.
Right.
And I haven't found anything that does that doesn't have like extra steps with it.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah. Because this is super great point and shoot. I send people links and then they have everything in front of them.
Yeah, that's nice.
Which
I wonder why my video is not showing up.
you also sound vaguely underwater.
I'll see if I can fix that too. Give me a sec.
Right. Oh, yeah. Did that ever update itself?
Give me a sec. I'm gonna switch from the laptop to the desktop. I'll be right back.
Go for it. Hey Carson, why did you guys lose to Pittsburgh? That sucked. You should stop doing that. Just a thought. I don't know. Hi, Pony.
Hello.
How's it? Oh shit. Oh boy. All right. Oh. You know what? He linked it in the thing. Okay. This is the most roundabout way to get all this, but it's fine. I don't get the idea of forcing people to use an encoder and then making that encoder set up a zip file.
Me either, I guess.
That's like a
Wait,
next level. Yeah. Why is there?
David?
Well, because Phil.
Okay, I saw two. Yeah, it's you, the show account, and David.
Yeah, David's here.
Hey there.
Special mystery host.
Special mystery host, indeed. That's the actual live stream.
Oh yeah, and that weird thing I ordered when, drunk, stupid, drunk, dumb me order of the weekend came in today.
Oh yeah! Are you gonna eat all 30 Crunch Bars on air?
No, I still have a lot of those left, but something else I ordered came in.
Oh, is it safe for live stream?
Well, probably would be. I'm still kind of unpacking it.
Oh, fair enough.
I ordered comic books.
Oh, look at you getting in touch with your inner nerd.
Again. A lot of them.
Oh.
What'd you get?
300 of them.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Stuff just shows up randomly.
That's good.
I used to work at a comic book store.
It's like Christmas, except I have to worry about how much money I spent on it.
Speaking of, your boy put down a fair amount of money on an apartment.
Nice.
This afternoon. I'm very happy I get paid Friday.
Just wait on Ryan, who has to kick someone out of a room, which I still want to see video of him doing because I don't believe it's anything but awkward. And there he is.
Hello.
All right.
Hey guys, what's up?
Living.
Wait.
Yeah, Pony?
I can't hear Ryan.
Oh, God. Fuck, every week.
Okay, let me just plug in and... I don't know why. It's the same headset I used last week. It worked.
Hi, Alan.
Hold on.
Yeah, that's weird.
Does this work?
You're great. You're so good. Pony just can't hear you because he's
updated. Sorry about that. I haven't had a chance to go directly to the show notes, but I can add in a bit of news. It was just my tactic stuff with classes.
Well, that's all good.
So it's just Ryan I can't hear if he's talking.
He's not talking.
Okay.
Steven, that's a wonderful question. I need to sit down and write it first, more or less. And I'll be moving. So if I don't know. Stay tuned. I haven't forgotten about you.
Can you guys hear me?
You're great. Yeah. Hi.
Sweet.
Welcome back. Yeah, anyway, Steven, short answer is hopefully by the end of the month. Long answer is I have stuff going on and I have to actually like sit down and make myself write that. I have ideas of what I want to do. And I think they're interesting. But I need there's a lot of logistics in setting up a Dungeons and Dragons related soccer game for people across the country. It's been done before, but you know.
Could Ryan try saying something?
Ryan, try saying something?
Come on, you Spurs.
There we go. Okay, I got it now.
Son of a bitch.
And this is a headset that was not working last week.
Way flip those headsets every week and every not week. David, I like that you're here twice now too. Anyway.
Is someone talking?
Not necessarily.
Okay, I was worried. There's another one where I can't hear somebody.
This is good. I mean, you can say it got shelved. Like, I'm not offended if you say it got shelved. It kind of did. Thanks, Alan. That's really mature. I mean, it kind of got shelved, but it's one of those things where like I've had a lot of moving parts happening, good things, but like moving parts happening. That's why it hasn't happened yet, which is the reason / excuse that you're getting for that to not come out yet. So it happens. Cool. Ryan and or David, are you guys around?
I'm good.
Okay, yeah, I hear
Okay,
that.
Cool.
I was gonna say, I was afraid someone was talking and I couldn't hear him again.
Yeah, I know. I was like, damn it. Yeah, I guess we'll put everyone out of their purgatory chat misery. And I'll just welcome everyone to the April 9th, or if you're going off of the USL calendar, week 5 edition of the USL show. I am your host, as most of the time, your favorite podcaster's favorite podcaster, and your favorite cheesemonger's favorite cheesemonger, Evan Villella here. Back at it again with a couple of my soccer friends and some of my soccer acquaintances. First, it is the man who impulsively buys 30 Crunch Bars at a time, our favorite pony. It's Pony.
I wouldn't say impulsively as much as drunkenly, but same difference.
Yeah. Anyway. Joining us to fill in the night from CurseCast, we have a couple things in common. One is that I see a Philadelphia Union scarf in the back as well, which is exciting. And B, we both talked to Santi Moore before. It's David from CurseCast. How's it going, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. And anytime, and certainly welcome. What? Are you a Philadelphia Union fan? Is that
I getting some feedback there, but I used to live in Philly.
Oh, what? Everybody.
I was there when the Union first came around, and went to games for the first few years before I moved out of Philly.
Right on. I love that everyone that I've like just met this year, it's like you and Jason are both like from this area.
I was actually just back there over the weekend for a wedding.
What? Oh, it's like we're taking over the whole network. This is wonderful. And someone that I really don't want to talk to until Manchester City inevitably beats them 2-0 in the second leg of the Champions League quarterfinal fixture, but I will have to do it anyway because the podcast will not work without him. It is our resident stat guru and your favorite, our non-international correspondent, Ryan Allen.
Keep in mind, I'm still rooting for City to win the title over Liverpool.
Thank you.
And this is a chance for Tottenham to win a title. I still want us to win, and I totally didn't expect what happened today.
That's fair.
Unbeaten in any stadium.
Yeah. For those confused, this is not a English Premier League nor an MLS podcast. In fact, it is a USL podcast where we cover everything regarding the USL Championship in the year of our Lord 2019. guys, I guess we'll start things off. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, I suppose, we really only talked about MLS two sides and what they do and if they're cool to do that or not. So this week is going to be rather match heavy, checks and balances or something. Saturday started things off for this week. I guess technically it was Monday, but we would have covered that. Tacoma 2-1 win over Sacramento Republic. Saturday, April 6th, Ottawa 0, Nashville 3. Nashville gets 2 goals from Rios, and Tucker Hume scores in his last action of the game in the 67th, gets a goal against his own club. Nashville outpossessed 65 to 35%, had 14 interceptions. Fury get outshot massively in their home opener. Could have lost by 4. I think it was, and now his name escapes me. That's really upsetting. But Nashville could have had a 4th. Ottawa might have had one late, but a really solid win here for Nashville on the road to get the season going. And Ottawa really gets outshone in their home opener, which is unfortunate because they've had a decent start to the season.
Yeah, I think this was the Nashville being the Nashville that we all thought they were going to be. This is kind of the performance we expect to see them put on, and if they could keep doing that instead of struggling on the offensive end like they had for the first few weeks, they are gonna legitimately be that number 1 team in the league moving forward with the whole Cincinnati Redux money situation.
Mm-hmm. The second game of the week was a Western Conference clash. Real Monarchs SLC 3. Reno get 1. Corey Herzog got a goal disallowed like 2 minutes in. Monarchs wake up, capitalize with 2 goals in 11 minutes. It was Chang in the 6th, Plata in the 15th. Blake caps it off. It gives it a 3-goal lead in the 48th minute. Aiden Apodaca late in the game opens his account for Reno. But solid win by Monarchs. They've looked okay. Reno definitely not the team that they were last year, but they might. It's the 4th week. Let's not read into that too much, I suppose.
For me, sorry, go ahead, Bunny.
Yeah, I'd say Reno started really bad last year too.
Yeah,
that was kind of a trend. But the Monarchs, if they could get some better defenders who are still competent for USL, they'd probably be the best team in the league.
Yeah, for me, Monarchs are a really weird side. They have 2 games this season that they've scored over 2 goals. That 5-0 win over at the Galaxy, and then 3-1 this week. And then they have a weird 1-0 loss to Vegas, and everything else they scored 1 goal or were shut out. It just seems that they have a bit more inconsistent play, but like Pony said, if they just get more better defenders, they could definitely at least turn it around. It will be a bigger test with New Mexico this week. David, is there anything you're looking forward to with that particular match with Monarchs?
Yeah, I mean, I want to see if Michael Chang can keep scoring, first of all. We're a team that really, I guess we kind of thrive in controlling the midfield. And if we're able to control Michael Chang, I mean, that's kind of 2 for 1 there. I mean, we being New Mexico, we thrive on countering and kind of taking advantage of mistakes in the midfield. And while Chang has been a goal-scoring machine, I think where he has some issues, from what I've watched anyway, is in possession at times coming up. So I think if we can get into the lanes, we're an intercepting team, particularly in the midfield. I think that'll make a big difference. And I think that game is won or lost in the midfield this week.
Next game of the week was a first ever meeting from the First Team Stadium out in Kansas City, with the one that I lovingly call Children's Lamborghini Mercy Park. Swope Park 3, Bethlehem Steel 4. Vanacore Decker starts things off, and then Ferris knocks one in. Emba Kelly gets 2 for Swope to give them a 3-1 lead, and then Benefimu off a corner heads one in. Mark Segbers has a really goofy Matt Real cross deflect off of his head or upper body, and that finds its way into the net. And then your captain, James Chambers, with a shot on goal that is not saved terribly well. It pops out. Sergio Santos opens his account in the United States on the rebound on actually a really pretty finish, all things considered. And Bethlehem steal all 3 points from Swope Park, who still somehow have still yet to get a win.
Yeah, I think Swope Park has definitely hurt in the conference switch over this season.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
having this be their first season in the Eastern Conference and not having the benefit of St. Louis, who, despite their multiple conference switches, they've had time to play in both conferences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be interesting, and I don't want. It would be very weird to me if Swope Park stay like rooted to the bottom of the Eastern Conference, especially because of team we'll mention later existing right now. But and I mean honestly, like a good bit of this Swope Park loss is like a combination of dumb luck and Bethlehem getting some nice breaks for him. So, just a very bizarre game all around. Benefimi makes team of the week, which is weird. He had an assist on the first goal for Bethlehem and then got his own header off a corner, but he's definitely not in that team of the week for his defensive capabilities this week, at least. And for both Bethlehem and Swope Park, the defense has definitely been, I don't know, the Achilles lower body, just because it's so glaring that that's the weakness for these two sides right now. I imagine it'll come down later in the season, but that's just because I don't want both these teams to be that porous in the back for a long stretch of time.
189 was the attendance at this game.
Well, media people count twice, so 4. Hey, speaking of weird results that everyone expected, I'm sure, Louisville 0, Pittsburgh 1. Nico Brett on a penalty in the 74th minute. I thought after Joe Greenspan picked up a yellow card about 20 minutes in, Louisville would have been, out to the races and really attacking and really on the front foot. But, Pittsburgh hits Louisville on a counter 73 minutes in. And then, Nico Brett gets brought down by Suwahi. And yeah, it's a penalty. And I understand why he had to make that challenge. And I think he probably 10 times out of 10 should make that challenge. But I mean, it's a clear pen, and it's a good taken penalty from Nico, and Pittsburgh gets a really nice pickup of 3 points there against a team that does not give you that at home a whole lot, for sure.
Is it time to start hitting the panic button for Louisville, in your guys' opinion?
No,
I don't know.
Somewhere in between, because this is the fastest they've lost 3 games by about almost 2 months. But this is they're hurt right now. They are pretty hurt, and I think that factors into it, especially losing 2 key players in the first half to injury against Pittsburgh. That's pure lily ball time right there. You're going to have only 1 second half sub against a team whose entire purpose is to completely grind you down. That's all set up for the 80th minute game winner from Pittsburgh.
And despite all of that, only losing by 1.
They should be concerned.
Despite all that, only losing by 1, and again, a penalty that should have been called. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, they're still top of the table. I think that's the important thing too. I mean, you can get frustrated with the style of play or the quality of the play, but again, to still be top of the table, to still only lose by 1, despite maybe some poor officiating, despite the fact that they had 2 of their key players go down. I wouldn't hit panic yet, but my hand's hovering above it.
Yeah, man, I'd say it'd be a bit concerning with through 5 matches. Louisville are currently about 7 points adrift off St. Louis and 5 points adrift off Tampa. That's still more than enough time to come back from, but it's just not the position that we all pictured them in to start the year.
Yeah. David, I know you're new to these parts as a whole, and especially the Eastern Conference, but losing by 1 to Pittsburgh is like the sun coming up every morning. That's just what happens. Yeah.
Well, I can promise you, New Mexico will not lose by 1 to Pittsburgh this year.
That's huge if true.
It's my hot take of this episode.
that's really hot. Yeah. No, that's a team in Austin. They're coming up later. Second week in a row I've made that joke on a podcast. This one will actually play well. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, there is only one scenario in which New Mexico and Pittsburgh play each other this year, and if that happens, I don't think either team will complain too much.
No, I'd be pretty thrilled with that. And I would imagine that my friends in Steel City would probably be pretty happy with that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of friends, my friend Austin DeLuz gave up a penalty kick in this match. North Carolina FC won. Memphis won. In a draw, like I said, the Memphis goal, 64th minute. Austin really just wanted to hug Mark Birch and did so. And it started outside the box, which is fine. You can hug people outside the box. But when you hug people inside of the penalty area, it becomes a penalty. And Birch does well to commit. Adam Niem almost gets a... There's actually about 3 or 4 Memphis players that could have gotten the ball in to get a second goal in, we'll call it the 72nd or so minute. Didn't happen. Najem's weird slide tackle shot thing goes just wide of Alex Tambakis. North Carolina equalizes in the 78th minute off of a really pretty Lomis goal. Just a hell of a free kick. Gets it up over the wall. 901 keeper does well to get kind of a hand to it, but it's hit too hard. And then Najem almost bangs at a free kick in the 78th, but Tambakis able to push that over the bar as well for an early contender for save of the year. This was a really fun game to watch. These teams don't I shouldn't say they don't like playing defense, but very open-ended, nice kind of creative attacking football, a little heavy at points, but it was a good time.
I definitely look for Memphis to move up. This is a good result for them on the road, and especially need to just kind of continue earning where they are. They're currently just a point behind Louisville City and level with points on Pittsburgh and 10th, which would be that final playoff spot. But and I guess I'd expect us more results like this in the coming weeks.
Yeah. And the next match, New Mexico 0, Rio Grande Valley FC 0. Dave, take it away.
Yeah. Still unbeaten. That's the key thing. But this was a frustrating game in some ways. Kind of the opposite of what we've seen thus far through the year for New Mexico United. In that we've seen them score a lot of goals previously and have trouble keeping goals out of the net. Have struggled defensively, but it was kind of the opposite. Obviously, a 0-0 final finish here. But without Kevon Frater, without Devin Sandoval, you knew that the offense might struggle a little bit. And obviously, I know have you guys mentioned at all anything about the MLS sending players down to the USL? Have you guys talked about that at all?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
If we wanted to talk about that a little bit and bring this up for the very first time.
Yeah.
Dynamo send down 5 players.
Yep.
Many of them on the defensive end, and that keeps New Mexico out of the net. Those injuries don't help. Dynamo sending players down don't help. We talked a little bit about it on the Curse Cast, how that was a little frustrating. And then the next day after we talk about how it's kind of unfair, then Dynamo do it to us. But it is what it is. It's still a draw on the road. United's still undefeated. Santi Moar almost added to his tally there in the 9th minute it was almost exactly the same shot that he got against Phoenix and ended up winning USL goal of the month. He takes her to the top of the 18 on the left side, steps into the right around a defender and just fires a curler that just barely misses. It would have been exactly the same goal if it had gone in. Obviously did not. Finishes 0-0 there. And again, are on this week to Four Corners Cup match against Real Salt Lake, which will be fun.
That's one of the best trophies for a derby here in the United States.
Well, thanks. It's been fun to put together. It was a cool little group. We did it with Phoenix and with Real Salt Lake and with Colorado Springs. It's just kind of a natural fit once we joined the league.
Nice little bonding experience before you guys get all at each other's throats over the thing that you all made.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's still being constructed right now by one of our members. He's finishing putting it together. Right. We hope to have it actually this weekend for the cup match, which would be awesome. We'll unveil it then, and then maybe give it to Real Salt Lake for a little bit, and we expect it to be returned at the end of the year.
Only RSL gets it. Colorado Springs and Phoenix can't have it.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, Phoenix has had way too much.
That's a really oddly competitive cup, though, too.
Yeah, it is, and I don't know that coming into the year, maybe everybody expected that, but there are. I mean, all 4 teams are gonna. I mean, I think those are potentially 4 playoff teams. I really do.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know why they wouldn't be, but it'd be. It's interesting to see that. I didn't expect it, but we may be the team that's fighting. I guess to get into that picture more so than anybody else, because again, all 4 of these teams are really doing well. If Phoenix could win a game, then they'll be back in it.
Yeah. Just 2 matches real quick. One of them, Birmingham and New York Red Bull 2, has been postponed to a date to be announced due to lightning storms in the area. The other one...
Actually, one thing I think it's worthwhile mentioning about the Birmingham-New York game is New York was winning 1-0, and they're replaying it from scratch.
Yeah, that happened last year too, eh? With I forget which matchup it was, but no, we had the one that it went like 30 minutes or whatever, and then they were like, no, we got to play it over from that spot, but like 7 months later when no one cares about it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or something like that. It was a weird one. And then I think there was another one out west where it was a similar scenario. And I think that one might have been scrapped altogether.
Yeah. Well, I mean, granted, New York should still beat them pretty easily, but
it
kind of hurts to see a 1-0 win go away.
Well, and it depends on how far out that date is too, right? Like if that's 3 months from now,
it could be a different team.
Literally for Red Bull, yeah.
Yeah. It also kind of hurts because it was Barler who scored, who would be tied for 3rd for goals of the year if it counted.
Individual awards in MLS2 teams don't mesh well. Hey, Tampa Bay are good or Hartford are really bad. Take your pick.
Bad.
Okay,
Tampa's
Ryan,
good.
dissenting
I'm going to go
opinions.
Tampa side too.
Guenzati gets 2 goals. David Njem gets a goal, which is wonderful because he was out for a very long stretch of time with a gnarly injury. So it's nice for him. First minute back on the pitch, gets a penalty, puts it in. And then Andrew Tenari as well with the 4th goal for the Rowdies, who stomp all over Hartford, who I have not necessarily... Can I be neutral? I'm going to play Switzerland and pick both of those things can be true, and they don't have to be mutually exclusive. I think that Tampa Bay is actually good, and I think that Hartford is also, in fact, actually bad.
Hartford might be historically bad.
They can try.
Yeah, they're on their way.
I don't think they should try to be historically bad, but they're in with a shout.
They get the first draft pick, right? If they're last, that's how that works.
I don't think
maybe tell Jimmy Nielsen that.
I don't think there's any chance of them being historically bad. I mean, this is the first game that
they do have a pretty good logo. You're right.
This was the first time they were completely outplayed. And the other games, it's at least been close. Just it's like, well, they could get it. I could have seen them with 2 points coming into this match, but they just got played off the pitch.
I had seen on Twitter, I thought it was one of you guys actually who put this together, that just statistically, they're on pace to be historically bad, potentially just at the very bottom of the very bottom ever.
Yeah, that was from me. I've been keeping track of the ELO ratings for USL going back to 2011, and currently through the first 5 games, they're on pace to be worse than Antigua Barracuda.
There it was
2013, and this is a team who played all 26 of their matches on the road and lost all 26. They had a goal differential of -80.
Yes.
And Antigua was a truly bad team, and for Hartford to be on pace to be worse than that is astonishing. I don't think this trend will continue. I feel like they have to get a win sometime. Yeah. It's just you have to play into a factor that this long road trip to start the year is certainly hurting their form. You're seeing it with the Portland Timbers up in MLS. It's not helpful to their form, especially as an expansion side where this team is like constantly traveling and week after week. It can't be indicative to any success for Hartford at all.
And while it pains me to agree with the Spurs fan, I agree. I think they'll get a win somewhere. I don't think they'll be historically the worst team ever, but they'll be right up there, or I guess right down there, as it were. And again, I also think it does help. I think Tampa Bay is really good. Frankly, I think they're the best team in the Eastern Conference. It's just I guess a poor matchup, and 4-0 wouldn't have been something that would surprise me if you told me that before the 90 minutes started.
I say, if you had to pick which team's going to be last place, Hartford or anybody else in the entire league, who has the least points?
Oh, I think I'll go Hartford.
Yeah, there's not any but.
I'd have to take the Field.
The thing is, the other team that's as close to them is RGV, and they've got the ability to do what they did this week and send down Dynamo players. So
Yeah,
I mean,
but they're also not sending down Dynamo players to like cover for RGV being bad.
no, not at all.
You know, like it's not like we can't have our affiliate team be the worst team in the USL. We gotta
No, and
grab
that's
a point there, boys.
That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that if you're routinely, even if it's just once a month, sending down those MLS players, blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, you're bound to get a win or two along the way. And again, I don't think there's any effort. I don't think they frankly care whether or not RGV finishes at the bottom of the table.
No.
But I do think that they were going to continue to send players down to get time, and I think that'll result in a win or two.
How about this for Hartford? So their goal differential currently is -9, and their goals conceded is 11. What is higher this season? The number of goals Hartford concedes, or the number of points that the USL Eastern Conference champion has? It's the Eastern Conference champion.
Oh wow!
Wait, okay. Is this like do I get to ask you what Louisville finished with last year as far as points go?
I can check, but I don't have
right now, St. Louis is at the top of the East with 13, and Hartford has 11 goals against.
Yes. Here, interestingly, last season, in Toronto SC2 finished and Tulsa both finished with the most goals conceded at 77 goals against. And coincidentally, FC Cincinnati, who won the Shield last year, not a playoff game, had 77 points.
They won a playoff game.
Yeah, they won that game.
I'm gonna say the Hartford goals
they
against.
Advanced, but technically any penalty shootouts
okay.
A draw.
They're in another league now.
I'm going to say the Hartford goals against. There's not a team in the East that's setting themselves apart right now. And there is a team in the East, at the bottom of the East, that's setting itself apart right now. Yeah. So I'll go with Hartford goals against there.
And to go back to the Hartford being bottom team in the league or the Field in the Western Conference, it's kind of funny because like RGV is in 18th, who like not terrible, and then like Phoenix is 17th right now because
they're undefeated.
Right. Well, yeah, in a not great way. At least for now. But like if we're looking at who's got, more points, per team, it's the Western Conference. So when you're like, 17th place team in your conference is A, the one that made it to the final last year, and B, an undefeated team. And you know what? We don't know what Las Vegas is going to do with all that foam. So
to be
To be fair, with FC Cincinnati, I only say that because I'm a Crew fan and I just poked fun at my Hell Is Real rival.
Yeah. I'm sure they're still listening to this. Speaking of still listening to this, St. Louis 2, Atlanta United 2-0, meaning the team that plays soccer in the USL Championship, hailing from the greater Atlanta metropolitan area, scored no times, and St. Louis scored twice. Y'all, someone should have drafted St. Louis like early because they are good. Which is crazy because they weren't even in this conference last year. That's what's blowing my mind about this whole thing.
Hindsight's 2020, but if I was in the draft, I definitely would have taken St. Louis.
Yeah,
I can say that because I wasn't in the draft.
Yeah.
I think Phil took him like 10th overall.
Probably. Someone should have snapped him before he did.
I think they did go to Phil. I will say St. Louis does currently have the highest ELO rating of the entire USL at an 1132 rating, just slightly ahead of Tampa, who's at 1127.
Who would have thought?
No one.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, if you're looking ahead to St. Louis's matches, I think, and their next four will be interesting because they'll host Birmingham. They'll travel on the road to Pittsburgh, which should be a fascinating fixture. And then they basically host their in-state rival of Swope Park. Actually, no, technically not in-state. Swope Park plays in Kansas City.
Yeah. The next one, San Antonio 2, Las Vegas 1, Bradford Jameson the fourth, and Everett Guzman give the goals for San Antonio. Irvin Para for Vegas. I'm feeling slightly vindicated about saying that Winaldo wasn't going to change a whole lot in Vegas as far as them being good goes.
Well, they did kind of get robbed of a goal.
It's fair. Yeah.
I mean, it got called back for offside, apparently, and I see no reason how it got called back, especially since it took like a minute and a half to figure it out.
Someone tipped the AR off about the spring break foam party they were going to have pitch side, and he went, well, that's dumb. and rescinded that goal for them.
Am I missing out on a foam party? Like,
oh, did you not see this?
Oh yeah.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, friend, let me tell you. You know the foam gimmick that they do at clubs for spring break.
I don't know. I don't go to clubs.
Yeah,
Do they do that? I've seen places that I've seen foam party places, but they do that at actual real nightclubs. That's a thing.
I suppose. I mean, this is Vegas we're talking about. I don't know what kind of year they're in as far as
that's fair.
Reality versus Vegas time. No, they're doing pitch side foam. I'm expecting Carson Merck to be our foam side correspondent. And I hope that the foam is non-toxic for the llamas.
And only for the llamas.
Only. The people, whatever. That's fine.
So if a Vegas player scores a goal on that, you're expecting someone to dive head first into the foam?
Yes, I need a foam celebration.
But that's on a card, or there's no ruling on this in the USL rule books.
Oh, you guys haven't checked out the foam section of the USL rulebook?
I've been meaning to get to it, but I haven't.
And word on the street is Electric Factory no longer using smoke, just foam now.
Well, the Electric Factory no longer using the name the Electric Factory.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Welcome to Philadelphia talk. Yeah, no, they got bought out by this is really narrow. They got bought out by the Bowery, which is a New York concert venue space, and they didn't have the rights to the name the Electric Factory, so they're like, oh well, we're not using those. Unlike when you build a stadium in Austin, you do it without a permit and then you just kind of wing it. Yeah.
Been out of Philly too long.
It happens.
Yeah.
This is the interesting thing about Vegas. You guys could be just lying for the last 5 minutes, and I have no idea that you're lying about any of this.
Did you guys hear they're setting the pitch on fire at 45 minutes? We'll see what happens.
Oh, I heard they were gonna erect a giant cell around the pitch, and whoever escapes out of it first wins.
And again, both those things could easily happen in Vegas.
Tony, I'm gonna be honest with you because I like you as a friend. The thing that I said not happening.
The thing that I said is absolutely happening.
Yeah,
it's called the forest lava mode.
Yeah, yep. Forest lava mode. Oh god, we're talking about soccer. This is our problem. We give Vegas too many good ideas. They use them for free. We don't get our money for it. And then, yeah.
I will say, to be fair to Vegas, they did finish a lot of the renovations on Cashman Field of taking down the foul poles and stuff, converting it from a former minor league stadium to an actually at least more soccer-only venue. I can't really say soccer-specific since it wasn't built for soccer, but it's more soccer-only, which is absolutely fantastic for them.
But did you see the video of that happening? And at the very end, they're taking that post down, and it just whacks one of the construction workers.
Yes,
I did.
I haven't watched the entire video, but I did see the video itself.
Yeah. That would not feel great.
No llamas were harmed in the making of that video.
Good. That's all I care about. OKC Energy 2, Portland Timbers 2-3, meaning the team that plays in the Rose City scored 3 goals, and the team that plays in a electric plant, I think, scored 2. OKC get goals by Mike DeFont and Cordell Cato. Portland goals by Brian Hurtado, Zach Kobayashi, and Ryan. I'll go with Sarakowski, please. Portland Timbers 2, they're looking all right.
In their last 4 games, they've scored multiple goals.
Yeah. Looking all right, he says, is their second in the Western Conference behind Tulsa.
Level on points with Tulsa, Sacramento, and New Mexico.
Yeah.
They score a lot of goals. They're 12 goals for at this point? They score a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, their defense is not. They're like the Red Bull 2 of the West without the really, really good academy system.
Defense optional.
Defense optional.
Plays Portland this weekend.
No, that'll be fun. Battle of the top 4 right there. How about it?
New Mexico United approves.
Yeah. Speaking of things that also happened this weekend, Lauren Conrad and her gang at Orange County travel to Colorado Springs. Darwin Jones gets 2 of them. 2-0 win for Orange County.
The first one of the season, and it's a desperate result that they needed to get.
Yeah, I think this is Orange County showing that they haven't regressed too much, and Colorado Springs kind of coming back down to earth a bit. I think Colorado Springs is still good, but we'll see.
I felt when NMU got the draw against Orange County early in the season, I remember feeling kind of elated on that. You know, a team that had the most points in the West last year, went to the Western Finals, all that jazz. And this is the first time since that game that I thought Orange County looked good. I've been watching all of their games and thinking, maybe I shouldn't have been too excited about that win, but they look good in this one. This is the first one where I felt like they comfortably won, and they were able to move the ball with these. I don't know what the possession stats were, but I would imagine they highly favored Orange County in that game. Just from my viewing of it, they controlled the midfield and bombed down the wings really, really well.
FootMob's calling that Colorado Springs controlled possession 55-45, but Orange County had a 13-8 shot advantage.
I guess it was just better chances then. They looked in control throughout.
Another fun one, LA Galaxy 2-4, Tulsa 2. Meaning, the team that Zlatan plays on has a team that plays in the USL Championship called LA Galaxy 2. They scored 4 times. The team in Tulsa scored twice. For LA, Ethan Zubak scores twice. Kai, I'll go with Koreniuk, maybe?
For the
scores twice. And then Pony, you want to talk about Luca Lobo, who scored twice as well, but he didn't have someone else on his team score twice, so it was 4-2 to the Galaxy, who take 3 points here.
Yeah, Luca Lobo is a really interesting player. I get a lot of Forrest Lasso vibes of Cincinnati and Charleston, if you want to go back that far, where he's mostly an incredible set piece threat. I mean, I think if you have a corner and you want to draft people who are going to be in the box, you might actually take Lobo first out of the entire league at this point. He just has a great talent, and he also has some good service into the box to help him out. But the weird part is his defensive numbers aren't stellar. I think the best he is in any category on his team is 3rd for defensive numbers, where I kind of have to wonder if the goals are going to drop off or if the defense is going to pick up. I'd like to see that one way or the other. I know people are talking about him winning player of the month for the first month, but I have a really hard time giving it to a defender whose team allows 10 goals in a month.
Yeah.
Santi Moore would have something to say about that.
I would also have something to say about that on behalf of Santi Moore.
Is Santi Moore a 6'6" juggernaut?
Santi Moore is a 5'8" goal scorer who nobody can stop on the left side.
5'9" listed.
Sorry. I think it's 5'8".
Yeah. It's also nice as set piece, not kind of open play.
And you know what?
Not picking Lobo.
What I will say about Luca Lobo is the Forrest Lasso comparison is mute until he breaks a 17-year-old's collarbone.
I mean, he's going to play a 2-team eventually.
Yeah, fair enough. Speaking of playing a 2-team eventually, which is an undeniable fact, by the way. Both of these teams will do that.
Sacramento are playing a 2-team this weekend.
Boom! Look at that. This eventually is this weekend, everybody. Sacramento 1, Austin 0. Only problem being Jermaine Taylor scores the own goal from Austin, so it's Austin 1, Sacramento 0, but it was the wrong net, so Sacramento wins. Pony, thoughts?
The goal, I mean, it was a great-looking own goal. I'll put it that much. The defender
there you go. Good finish.
Put a head on it to try to clear the ball, and on a spot where the goalie might have actually been able to get there. That's where Restrepo, who everyone who's been around for a while remembers his keeper of the league play from a couple of years back in San Antonio.
Yeah, Diego looked good this game too.
Yeah, he is still one.
He has not lost any of that
in the league. One thing that was kind of odd to me was it seemed that I think Austin knows how to beat or at least frustrate Sacramento, which is to play really compact defense. Because Sacramento's a team who likes open space. They like to counter, like all those things, and Austin didn't really let them do that much. Because Sacramento's small stature-wise, they don't have the giant forward who you want to lob it into. They have all the small technical midfielders and strikers who move the ball around and get a clear open shot, and Austin would not let them do that. I mean, Austin, they can't score, but they actually are a really good defensive team. If you could bring in a good up top player for Austin, I think they suddenly move from irrelevance to being one of the better teams in the league. I mean, after 4 games, they've only allowed 3 goals. Granted, they've only scored 2 goals. So I think Austin has a lot of upside if they could figure it out. And I think they also figured out how you're going to beat Sacramento this season, which is let them have the ball, because that's not how they like to play.
Yeah. The next game, Phoenix 0, Fresno 0, Crossbar 1.
And what a hell of a shot that was, too.
It would have been quite the finish. But it wasn't. So, hey guys, if I told you that somehow, actually, if I think if anyone told anybody that Phoenix would be undefeated through the first 4 games of the season, but be second to last in the standings, everyone would go, well, that doesn't make any sense.
Undefeated, yes. Second to last in the standings, no. And
No.
and one of those 2 cards, the first one on Seth Moses, I don't think is a card.
Probably not.
He kind of got screwed over there. I'm not typically one to defend Phoenix, but I thought it was a clean tackle. The second one he deserved. But yeah, to send him home in the 40th minute, I think.
Yeah.
And for Phoenix to not be able to capitalize after that, I mean, that's more concerning to me than them having 4 draws through 4 matches, is them not being able to score against a 10-man Fresno for 50 minutes. That's concerning for me.
Yeah, for about an hour.
Fresno's defense is good.
No, they are, but they're 10 men. And I know they're locking it down after losing a man, absolutely, but you got to be able to get something there, especially at home.
Yeah, I mean, still, they've only allowed 2 goals this whole season.
Yeah. No, that's not to take anything away from Fresno. It's to take everything away from the fact that they were down to 10 men.
Phoenix should have won this game, but I think it speaks high to Fresno. I came out of this game going, oh, wow, Fresno actually is going to live up to the hype I was giving them last year when they decided not to play good.
Well, I mean, you really
score
have
goals.
You just like Juan Pablo Calfa like way too much.
Well, yes, that's also part of it.
So, I mean, that was a lot of your hype for Fresno was for Calfa, who deserved it. But anyway,
they got to score some goals.
It's Lily Ball light.
Yeah,
Lily Pelota, I believe.
It's kind of a marked difference from their high-powered offensive last year to go basically 0 wins, 4 draws, 0 ties, 8 goals scored, 8 against. It's perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
I'm very much looking forward to that game this week. They're playing Tulsa.
I honestly thought you were going to say I'm very much looking forward to that game this week, Avengers Endgame.
I'm looking forward to that.
And I was going to be like, how did that work out?
And how are you going to segue out of that one? But no,
I can find a way.
Hot take: Fresno will beat Tulsa this weekend. Boom.
Wow.
Is that a hot take?
Is it not? You don't
Those
think it
places
is?
that they play soccer in are rather warm at this time of year. Boom.
That's
climate
fair.
joke.
I'd bet Fresno over Tulsa.
Where is that match?
I don't know. I'd still put Fresno
West
over
of the
Tulsa.
Mississippi River, probably.
That's a good bet. It's a good bet. Oh, I
Fresno
thought it was a hot
hosting.
take. Lukewarm take.
Fresno hosting.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah. Soccer things. What else happened in the soccer? Charleston. Their first goal was really gross. It was like off a corner, broken down. Brandon Miller can't get his paws on a ball. It kind of slips out. They have a defender right in front of it who doesn't kick it, and then Svan Tessen just kind of pokes it. Friend of the show, Hugh Roberts, almost gets a goal off a set piece that hits the bar, and then Zyko Lewis not out of nowhere. I think if you followed his college career, if you watched him a little bit with the Baby Bulls, I believe he was a Red Bull draft pick a couple of years ago, and he is I want to say Haitian. and has gotten some time with their national team outfit. I don't think the senior team, but I digress. What a curler. Good God. Just finds it at the top of the box and uncorks one. And it's a beauty. Which is great. So a 2-0 win to Charleston. Charlotte are I was listening to Talking Jacks this morning, actually. They're not feeling great. They've been close to getting a lot of goals. They've had a couple weird weather games that have not been kind to them. They have 1 point. Lost to Indy 11-2-3 opening week. Drew Atlanta United 3-3. Lost to St. Louis 1-0 and lost to Charleston 2-0. New coach and some things, and Bylaw Duckett retiring and some other things. I'm not incredibly worried yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't be worried unless they are still winless 3 games from now. Because at that point, you failed to win against 2 teams in Bethlehem and North Carolina who are probably in the same skill range as you.
Yep.
And at that point, you panic, I think, if you're Charlotte. But right now, you look at it and go, we haven't lost to anyone. There's been no horrible result yet. You've lost to 3 good teams and drawn for Mario Williams.
Yeah, basically. Well, and you know what's nice is they've had a really, really strong front end. So like they play Red Bull, Bethlehem, North Carolina, and then I think they play Tampa Bay. After that, they get Hartford and Loudoun, but then they get Nashville. So it's a weird like front end heavy part of the schedule for them, and you know. Goose and Alex are both talking about how like, our conditioning is really great and blah, blah, blah. And if that carries over into the season and not just the games, then they're a team that's very much rested and fit in the second half of the season. They could do some damage.
If they lose to Hartford, then it's probably
that's an issue. Yeah, that'll be an immediate panic button.
I think Hartford is going to enter that game probably with still 0 wins, 0 draws.
I remember when we were watching and Hartford almost beat Louisville a couple of weeks ago.
We'll see if Hartford Stadium's ready by then.
Speaking of Charlotte, how's Pony's head? I mean, it's not your pony. How's Goose's head?
Stapled, but fine.
Yeah, that was concerning. I just saw the jersey at first, and I was thinking, was he murdered?
Apparently not. No, because he tweeted about it. So unless there's some weird interdimensional, you get one tweet before you're done kind of thing. Who knows? Hey, a couple pieces of news. We have 3 of them. Austin Bolt Stadium was built without permits, which is fascinating to me.
So I read the article about that, and the team was saying that they were in lockstep with the city, but the city was saying they were building before they had the permits. So is somebody lying? How does that work?
Probably. Well, and like now that it's built, or is being built, it's just such a weird thing to be like, well, does it matter right now? I don't know.
They did have the Merit, the home opener, but my guess is this was a hiccup on one side or the other, and they'll get it figured out when the stadium's built now. It's not like they can quickly take it down.
Right.
Well, it's modular, so they probably could, but
they needed like a second permit to do any sort of like additional renovations, and
sounds
they're
right.
concerned they won't get it, or
there's still, per that article, there was still nothing in place for that second match, so they still have to kind of figure that out.
Right.
Wonder if Precourt will run into the same problems. Kind of hoping.
I don't know. I think they've got enough time to get all that sorted out before they break ground. What's interesting is that they're going to get another waiver apparently for this weekend, or not this weekend, the following, when the next home game is on the 17th. Which is 7 days from the time you'll be hearing this. But like that's just such a bizarre thing to just not have situated, especially because I can't imagine, hi, we're building a soccer stadium, it's huge, you'll notice it, like wouldn't let the county be like, yeah, we should give you a permit for that.
I would imagine the thought process is, well, we don't have the permit that we need. You guys just go ahead and fine us. And I mean, I would imagine the fine won't be something that'll really hit them too hard. I didn't see a fine in the article.
It says, let me see if I can't backtrack here and find what this person does. Riveting podcast.
Oh yes.
Riveting podcast. Just
Talking
gonna keep
about
saying that.
the public information / city development service.
No, sorry, the development services department. Beth Culver, who's the building official, said that the kind of like corrective action for not having a permit is getting a permit. So I'm sure Austin's like, okay, well then just get us a permit.
And then if we don't,
Like it's a weird like all right, what are you guys gonna do?
You didn't get a
Other than,
permit
like,
in
file
time.
paperwork?
Your punishment
sign
for
it.
not getting it is you're gonna get it.
Yeah, right. So that's strange.
In a perfect world, it makes me think that right when they played that second match, the city commissioners would walk up hot fuzz style and say, I trust you have a license for this."
Yeah.
Like Ron Swanson.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking more hot fuzz than Simon Pegg.
Right.
And then the other one, there's some rumblings of a 15,000 seat sports venue in $1.5 billion development area for the San Fernando Valley of LA.
It kind of looks like a certain toilet in North London.
Maybe. Now, what's
the
fun?
Nice. There's only one of those that looks like a loo.
What's fun is that
Miami's new stadium.
Nothing. Yeah, Miami's new stadium is.
Yeah.
I hope they never build that. Not literally. I just hope it doesn't look like that. There's been rumors of Roma coming into LA for a couple of years now. I don't know how wide known or at what level those are, but San Fernando Valley is in fact in California, and Roma probably has $1.5 billion US. I don't know. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Just don't put them in a toilet.
Maybe not.
A circular or bowl stadium with a roof would look like a toilet from a certain angle.
Yeah. Last bit of stadium news real quick. Indy 11 stadium proposal went through the House today. Unanimous vote 29, I think, to 0. Go, if you care about that, at Soccer with Brian on Twitter. It's a friend of ours, Brian Cook, who's been following that. You can also go to uslnews.com, and he has an article up about that as well. If you care about legal proceedings, things like that. The big, bold point of it is that they scrapped the part of the bill that said that Indy 11 had to be an MLS to get a stadium, which is massive.
Yeah, I love to see that. The community kind of rallying around the club saying, we'll support you regardless. You know, we're not holding you hostage.
Which, I mean, to be cynical about it, if they don't get like 25,000 people for that opening game, might not happen.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair.
But
they're not going to get 25,000 for every match, and it's nice to see the support from the city council in that case.
Yeah,
or
and I mean, the fans of that team can only do so much, and a lot of people talk about speaking with your wallets when it comes to being dissatisfied or whatever with your sports team, and they spoke with their wallets in a positive way, and I'm sure that was part of the reason why Indy got that part of the bill removed, which is a huge weight off the shoulders for everybody involved with 11 in that organization. So
yeah, they're going to have people show up. I think looking at last season, the lowest number Indy had for any game was still over 8,000.
Yeah,
that's good.
And it's welcome news for the league as well.
If they structure their stadium like Louisville, they can build it in a way that basically is their own place, but offers the chance to expand if they're called upon or given the special rose to go to MLS.
Yeah. My favorite Bachelor, Don Garber. And then the other big news, I've seen some contrarian takes on it, but I love this so much. ESPN Plus signs the deal to broadcast the U.S. Open Cup matches, which is amazing because I think everyone that listens to this, by and large, already has ESPN Plus, and so we just got more soccer for $5 a month. And the other great news is that it's not on Flow FC or whatever it's called, which is literally the worst.
I saw some takes on social media on this that kind of baffled me. Like, why would you put it behind a paywall now?
Yeah, that one was really fun, eh? It was like, why would you put this behind a paywall? And it's like, dude, like $5.
If you follow soccer in the United States, you already have ESPN Plus.
Yeah, and in addition to that, they say, I could watch the U.S. Open Cup final on, ESPN last year, but what about all of the
Did
other
you try to watch
matches.
like the 3rd round games or the 4th round games that were on YouTube or MyCuju, where it was like a guy? There was a bunch of like Pablo Mora I know had one. There was a bunch of people that were like putting out takes where it's like, oh man, I'm really upset that like I'm not going to hear the people filming the game now like talk about it while they're filming it.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, for those early games, if you told the fan who's saying, "Oh, this is horrible, it's a paywall," if you told them for $5 you could go to the game, they'd probably take it, and then you get to see every other game you want for the entire month.
Right.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, what's
And
wrong with you?
And if you're a fan of those, PDL, USL, League Two teams or whatever, it's you're going to see a quality on the broadcast that maybe you didn't previously see, and that's nice. It's opening it up to more people, and we've got a USL League Two team here in Albuquerque, and I'm excited to see that for them.
Or think about the basically the local qualifiers, what would be the equivalent of a pub team basically being able to say, hey, my match is going to be streamed online. And if we go far enough, it'll be streamed up against DC United or up against the Richmond Kickers somewhere. And this not only in this article this deal was approved through 2022. Yeah. So this is a massive thing that is pushing. I think this is like going all the way building towards Soccer Federation almost saying by 2026 everything will be revamped, kind of almost redone, not rebooted, but at least represented to American audiences to get us geared up for this next World Cup. The next American World Cup.
If my pub team is playing in the U.S. Open Cup, I'm calling my mom and saying, "Mom, I'm going to be on ESPN Plus." That's cool.
Right.
Like that's so awesome.
Seriously.
It would save the replay, and I honestly think that for ESPN, this isn't like they're adding on a bunch of other stuff. They could probably produce this entire tournament for next to nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, and I don't think you're going to get many people who are going to be purchasing ESPN Plus specifically for the U.S. Open Cup, but it just satisfies the audience that you already have.
And ESPN Plus does so much more than just soccer. I mean, if you look at it, just soccer, it's MLS, USL, a couple EFL championship games. You put Serie A on there, and the Australian A-League, now the Open Cup, League One. And if you want to look beyond soccer, you put like UFC, hockey, NBA, all these college sports on there. We're not trying to like push ESPN Plus here, but
if they want us to, we certainly can talk about that.
And it's certainly worth the $5 a month.
It is. Speaking of things that are worth it, guys, we're gonna get out of here, but let's wrap it up quick. Things that are worth it. Go follow me at SpeakEvanSpeak on Twitter. It's a really good follow. You should do that. I'm also close to 500 followers, so like, be the 500th follower, and I don't know. I'll figure something out. You can also follow the show at the USL Show on Twitter. We also go live every Tuesday night at around 9 o'clock Eastern on the YouTube's youtube.com/the USL Show. Give us a follow there. Hang out in the live stream, do the things, be awesome. You can also check us out. The USLshow.com is a really good thing. There's 2 boxes that I want you to be familiar with. One of them is a blue and orange box for our friends and MASL San Diego Soccer sponsors, Soccer Loco. If you're colorblind, the box is gray and gray. But if you click on that, you go through, you can buy anything you want. There's cleats, there's shirts, there's jerseys, things like that. Do that. We'll get a kickback of that purchase. Thank you very much. Other thing I want you to know about Patreon, patreon.com/the USL Show. Give me a minute to organize my life and move and all that fun stuff, and then we'll have some interesting and hopefully funny content for you coming up in the near future. I'm going to stop talking. I've been in and out of losing my voice for about a week or so. So, gentlemen, to be kind to our guest, David, where can people find you and your likeness on the Twitters and other things?
I am on the Twitters at David_M_Carl, but more importantly, go ahead and follow Curse NM. That's the Curse, with the supporter script for New Mexico United. At the Curse NM on Twitter.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do that.
Woohoo.
Ryan, where are people finding you?
You can find me on Twitter at ILM_Ryan, usually just tweeting about USL. I will be sprinkling a little bit of Columbus Blue Jackets hockey in there until we're inevitably kicked out of the playoffs by Tampa Bay in like a week and a half.
Mm-hmm. And Pony, where can people follow your escapades and buying things on Amazon when you're drunk?
I can be at Twitter at USL_Pony. I might not have 500 followers, but I did hit 400 during my MLS2 rant thing last
There you
week.
go.
So
That's good.
controversy. That's the way to get followers, kids.
You know, another way to get followers, or another way to be a really cool person, go to roughneckscarves.com, buy a scarf. People will be like, wow, that's a really good scarf. Where'd you get that? And you'll tell them, well, the USL show told me it was roughneckscarves.com, and I bought one, and I did it, and it was great, because it is. Other places you can get to be really cool. Check out the 9,000 or so podcasts on the Beautiful Game Network of podcasts, which produces this one as well, at bgn.fm on the interwebs, at the bgn.fm on the Twitters. Like David said, The Curse New Mexico is one of them, one of our newbies for this year. Birmingham Backline is there as well. I started one called Views from the Bridge because I'm so vain that I needed to have two things for me to hear my voice at every week. Go figure. Who would have thought? Yes, I'm an only child. Thank you for asking. Anyway, we're going to get out of here. Until next week, there is one rule of the USL show, and that rule is do not be a dick. And take care, everyone. We'll talk to you soon. Cool. Phil, this is where you can end this thing. Great.
Still live.
Yeah, we're going to be live because Phil has.
Yeah.
So, hey, David, thanks for coming. You're welcome back anytime you like.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me know if you guys ever need a fill-in. I'm happy to do so. Thanks for the fun.
Hey, he's not here tonight either. You're right. That was a terrible joke.
Oh, I get it.
it.
Yeah, because Phil. Anyway,
Just
Fill
now.
in.
yeah, that was a good one. I'm getting out of here. Bye, everybody.
All right. Peace.